Welcome to the Health Coach Nation podcast. My name is Hailey Rowe, and I'm a sales and marketing coach and LinkedIn lead generation service provider. I work with health, life, and mindset coaches and online service-based business owners to help them get more sales, shift their time to the client-generating activities instead of just the busy work, and overcome that social media overwhelm. Let's get into the show. Today, before we get into the episode, I'm going to share a little short clip from a client about what he is liking about coaching so far. And the reason for that is the Inner Circle, which is my private and small group coaching program, taking you through the A to Z of marketing your business, getting clients, and having the confidence and the skill sets to continue to scale and grow your business. It is now open, and I'm taking free strategy consults this week and next week. If you'd like to connect and talk more about your goals, what you're challenged by in your business, and see if it's a fit for you, or if one of my other offerings might be a good fit. So if you're curious about scheduling a free consult, you can go to haileyrowe.com and book a time, or you can go to haileyrowe.com/call and book a time. All right, talk to you soon.
Got a bit of time between conference sessions, and I want to provide this review. My name is Austin, and I am an entrepreneur and business owner, and had my business my latest business for about 3 to 4 years, and honestly, it really just never took off. I mean, the value was there, just couldn't get it off the ground. And I realized I needed some intervention. I was losing energy, and really wasn't going where I wanted it to go. And I knew I needed a coach, someone that's kind of been there, done that, seen things. And as an expressor, I needed someone that was also heart-centered. Someone that I could resonate with and feed off their energy. And I kind of landed on Hailey. She had kind of a proven history with her clients. Her results spoke for herself, and I really believe that she could help us out in our business. So I am halfway through her coaching program, and I must say, engagement honestly has never been higher. We just had a 57% uptick in the last few weeks, and I feel just re-engaged and re-energized in my business, and I look forward to kind of where it's going. I mean, Hailey really helped us gain clarity, and that's really what we miss, right? It was kind of this generic targeting, and the systems were okay, but not ideal. The format, the structures were okay, but not ideal. And when we made a couple of those tweaks, given Hailey's recommendation, that's when things really kicked off for us. So if you are considering coaching and getting coached, Hailey is a fantastic source of resources, knowledge, and energy, and she's got my recommendation. So looking forward to the latter half of her program, and have a good day.
Talking a little bit about books and what should you be considering if you're an entrepreneur or coach and you want to increase your brand awareness and your audience. Why might you consider a book? Do's and don'ts, things like that. So Katrina, first just share a little bit about you, your last name as well, so that I don't mispronounce it, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, it's Sawa. And it's my starter husband's last name because I branded myself before I got divorced. So there you go. But it's much easier than my maiden. So about books, I never wanted to be an author, honestly, which is funny because I have 22 books now. But I thought, well, why do I want to sell a $20 book when I can sell a $200 thing or a $2,000 thing or a $20,000 thing in my business? That just seems silly to promote, right? A $20 thing. Until I saw all my friends getting on stages and getting on TV and getting all these opportunities because they had a book. And I'm like, oh, use it as a marketing tool. Got it. Okay. So now I just almost every year I'm in either one book or 2 books, or I create them or whatever. So it's just fun. It's a fun, thing to do. Now I've been in business for 23 years. I just started doing a lot more books for the last 7 or 8 years. But yeah, I mean, books have just been a part of, it's a marketing tool, you know, if you look at it that way, unless you're more of a fiction author, then yeah.
Right. I love it. Yeah. So using a book as a marketing tool, tell me a little more about what you mean by that.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in marketing and sales all my life since my very first job. And marketing is the lifeblood of us, what we do as entrepreneurs. We have to market in order to find people that want to work with us. We have to sell. And in order to really get in front of more people, get more visible, you got to have things going on. You have to have promotions. You have to be in different places. Speaking is a great way. I call it the fastest path to cash, right? And so if you have a book or a topic that you write about in a compilation book even, you can speak on that topic. If you're already speaking, then a book just complements it. You know, I go to events sometimes, and I used to have this coach once who would have a big fishbowl as you walk in the door to his event, to, you know, 500 people in the room. Everybody would drop their business card for the prize drawing. And, but he would teach you to put your book in there. And so every once in a while, someone would put their book in the fishbowl, and guess what? He would pull it out every time and say, who put their book in here? And they read the name in front of 500 people. They read the title of your book and the name. And think about that. I mean, that's free. Right. And then I travel all the time for speaking, and I actually put books in bookstores in airports. So I actually leave them. It's called reverse shoplifting. And you just put them there because who knows who's going to pick it up, right? The cost for a book as an author is very minimal. So use it everywhere you got, you know. I'll put it in swag bags at conferences, like 400 swag bags. I'll put books in there. Yeah, it cost me like $1,500 or something like that to do that. But if 2 or 3 people hire me for thousands of dollars later, I mean, it's totally worth it. It's just fun.
Yeah, totally. And I'm curious too, because I do see that all these speakers have books, and a lot of the time to get a speaking gig, that you have a better chance if you have a book. Why do you think that is? Is it just that it lifts your authority? Like, what is your theory on that?
Authority, credibility. You become the expert on the topic, right? I wrote a book called Love Yourself Successful. There's a lot of people calling, you know, doing self-love and mindset stuff out there, but I wrote a book on it. You know, so like love, it's just, you can really establish yourself. And if there's 8 or 9 or 24 people who've already written books on it, it doesn't matter, because your circle of friends and followers will want your book because they're following you. So you don't have to worry about what else is out there. You don't have to worry about any of that. You just need to get your own book out. Now, there's the biggest mistake I see authors making is they're trying to fit everything into one book. I did this with my first solo book because I'm like, well, it's not done yet. There's more to tell. There's more to the story, but I got to live 3 more years in order to find out what's going to happen in order to put it in the book. No, just get the book done, tie it up with a little bow, get it launched, and then get ready for the next book. Because there is more to tell. There's more stories to tell. There's more ideas coming out of you in your business. Just do more books. Yeah.
Okay. And why 22 books? Are you just like, I just need a book every year, or what is going on there?
Well, I didn't have a goal of getting 22 books, as I say. So I was in a few here. There's my very first compilation book was with Allie Brown. You guys know who Allie Brown is. Where'd she go? Right? The Easing Queen back in 2005 and 6. If you've been around in business, you know her. I was in Power and Soul with her as an author, one of the 40 authors, a lot of authors in that book. And I wrote a chapter in 3 different compilation books before I wrote my own full book, which was the Love Yourself Successful book. But this one took me 3 years to write because I had that mindset of like, oh, it's not done yet, right? Or I don't know, like I wanted to do an event with it and have a coaching program with it. And that all didn't download as fast as I thought it would to put it all into the book. But then I was like, okay, well, then the compilation books were really popular, and they're all over the place. I probably know of 6 on hand right now that are looking for authors, and that's just me and who I know, right? And so you can literally write a chapter in a book for, one time I wrote one for like, I think it was $100, and I wrote a chapter.
Wow.
Now, most of them are 1,500 to 3,000 or something like that to write a chapter and get all the promotion and do a book launch. But they're all over the board. So why not do them? Why not do them and collaborate with all the people who are in the book? This was my first collaboration book that I did, and there was 26 authors, right?
Wow.
Jumpstart Your Blank. So I made money by having people pay me. Now, of course, I did all the work. So there's a lot of work to be done in a book, but that's why 22. So really, I have 4 books. I have the 2 first editions of these 2 books, and then I have the second editions. These are the second editions.
Nice.
So I added stuff, and then I did 6 of these. I did 6 different ones of these 6 years in a row with different authors. And then I was in a bunch of other people's compilation books. So
got it.
It's just a fun thing to promote. You get out there, lots of visibility, and all the other people are promoting you. So you get in front of other people's circles of friends and followers by being in a compilation book. There's no reason why you wouldn't want to do that, really.
Nice. I love that. And I'm curious too, 2 things. One, you mentioned that you have self-published your books. Is that true? Your solo books? Okay. Yeah. So define what that means for someone who is like brand new to this and they're like, wow, that sounds like really scary. I don't know where to start or how I would publish my own book. And then I'll ask the other question. But
I self-published after I paid my publisher friends to show me and tell me what to do. So that's because I wasn't going to spend 40 hours researching and listening and reading all the stuff on Amazon. There's no way I'm all about just tell me what to do and I'll go do it. And I'll do it the right way, and I won't waste a bunch of time and money in the wrong places. So that's what I do with people. Either I show you how to do it yourself, or I do parts of it. I'm very Jumpstart Publishing. We're very a la carte. So if you want to do parts of it, great. I'll show you what to do. You go do it. Save some money there. But some of the things you should not be doing yourself. You should not be doing your own cover design on Canva. You need someone who knows how to do it for specs on Amazon. Even with the specs, I've had too many designers mess up because they don't know what they're doing. Okay. So I have some great affordable people who do the inside layout. There's editing involved, right? You need an editor. Please don't edit yourself. Please don't have your sister edit it or your mom edit it. Have somebody who's a book editor because you want to look professional. You don't want to look like a lame person that just slapped their book together on Amazon, right? If you want to use it as credibility and authority, you got to make it look good. Doesn't mean you has to cost a lot of money. It could be anywhere from $2,500 to $12,000 for getting a full book done. Honestly, it just depends on how much help you need.
I love that. And if someone's writing a book to get speaking opportunities, what have you found what works well to kind of get those speaking opportunities, or how have your clients gone about it and mentioned their book or used their book?
Yeah. I mean, be open to giving your book away to many different places. You want, just like you want to have a speaker sheet, right? Well, you want to have a media kit when you have a book. So you're going to send packages of your book and your speaker sheet and other things perhaps. And you just have to put some money and effort into those things if you're trying to get, especially paid speaking gigs. If you're looking to get free speaking gigs, it's not as necessary to do some of that. It just kind of depends on your goal and your target audience for your speaking, because there's 3 types of speaking, right? There's the free speaking, the paid speaking, and then there's pay to play speaking, which is a marketing strategy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. And you also mentioned there's tons of books out there, and some people might feel like, oh, who wants to hear from me on this topic, or have those limiting beliefs. So I could definitely see some people thinking like, why would someone want to read my book when we all talk about the same concepts, or, they probably already know this stuff. And I know you mentioned part of it's just your audience likes you and they want to hear it from you. But what are some other tips you have for if someone's feeling that shyness, that mindset block, that imposter syndrome, that kind of thing?
Trust me, there's people watching you and waiting for your book to come out or your course to come out or you to do a talk or a workshop or whatever. There's people lurking. There's always people watching. And I think you're doing them a disservice by not giving it to them, right? So, and you might get some clients. Don't you want some more clients? I mean, it's just one way to get more clients. It's just one other way. There's a gazillion ways to market and get clients and get more visibility. This is one way. Not everybody's going to go for it, but honestly, I think so many people need it. Like a financial planner. Like if you're the only one in your whole city that has a book, who's going to be the expert? Who's going to be the one that's speaking on the panels? Who's going to be the one that's speaking at the chamber? Who's going to be the one that's, more visible in the marketplace? So I'm just, what you do, I think it's good. And my very first, at the time I had a package, a coaching package for like $14,000 when my first book came out, the first edition of this one. One gal bought it. The week later, she came back and purchased the $14,000 package. Okay.
Wow.
So if that isn't reason enough to write a book and get it out as quickly as possible so you can get the next one out and the next one out and the next one out. I mean, if you don't have a $14,000 program, then make one. Create a $14,000 program or a $10,000 or a $5,000 or go bigger. I mean, I think that anybody, especially in the coaching world or consulting world, should have low, try me out offers, medium of the road, your signature stuff, and then high end, let's do it with you or for you kind of stuff. Yeah. So, yeah. And there's so many different publishing options. People think, well, I need a hybrid publisher. I need a real publisher. I'm going to self-publish. I don't even know, honestly, like what you would call, I guess I'm a hybrid publisher, but I'm more of like a publishing book author training company in a way, because I'm all about helping you get business from your book, market the book, sell the book, and get the book done. So in my mind, I mean, that's what most people need that are in business. You don't necessarily need to worry about the big publishers, and to have a business coach and a marketing expert who is also the book publisher sounds a lot more interesting, because you're going to get a lot more out of it than if you go to somebody who's only a publisher and they're in the editorial world and they don't, aren't connected to the whole entrepreneurial world. So
right.
For entrepreneurs.
I love that. Yeah. And if you guys are listening to this and you are trying to figure out your offer and get that planned first, that is what I help you with. So if you want to join the Work Smart Marketing Club, we're actually doing a workshop in April of 2025, if you're hearing this now, on offer creation and how do you make a no-brainer offer. And I go through that as well in the inner circle. But then you need Katrina to get you that book and help you get it out there and market. And I'm curious, when it comes to writing a book, what if someone's like, I have zero idea how to write a good book, how to structure it, how to break it down. I feel so overwhelmed. Should I use AI? Like, what are your tips for starting their book and getting it out on paper?
Yes. Well, first of all, look at your own teachings. Like, what are you teaching? What kind of things exercises do you take people through in your coaching? What kind of areas do you focus on with people? Those probably should be the beginning structure of your book. If you need more help with, like, I want 13 chapters and they're going to be all about these things, then, that's something that I can work with you on if you don't already have that in a course or a program. Like this book here was a program first. So this was my Jumpstart Your Biz in 90-day program that I transcribed and then, zhuzhed up a little bit and made it a book. Some people take their book and they make it a course. They do it the other way around. So start with your own content first. If your goal is to get clients, right, like mine is, some people have more of a story they need to get out. Like they've been, they want to get out their childhood trauma, whatever. Okay. And maybe that doesn't have anything to do with their business. Okay. Well, then we need to figure out how that's going to tie in. And it's just different for everybody. But you can start with an outline with AI. Please don't write your book with AI though. It's I mean, Amazon will ask you, did you write this book with AI? And you don't really want to say yes to that. So
No.
at least not in this day and age yet.
Yeah.
So I don't recommend that, but it doesn't have to be as hard as it sounds.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, totally. Many of you probably already have a book you're sitting on because you have a program or you have a course or you have a system or a framework that you always talk about. And how do you tie your business into it? Do you, obviously part of it will just be, oh, I loved the book and I wonder how I can work more with this person. But is there anything strategic you recommend when it comes to like inside the book, like driving calls to action or anything like that?
Yeah. And I mean, we could be here for an hour and a half. Yes, because a lot of people will just write. In the first compilation book I did, I had 26 different writing styles. I didn't know I was going to get that many writing styles. I didn't know people don't know how to write, intro with 3 points and a conclusion. I didn't know people didn't know how to write like that. Some people just gave me a checklist and I said, well, okay, well, I need a story around this. So I had to pull like some kind of stories in and like, let's describe this one more. And so I'm really good at kind of analyzing what content needs to be there for the reader. But what was the question again?
Tips for tying the call to action, like
in
your
so just like in a talk. So if you're a speaker or as a podcast host, you just seeded in your program just a second ago. You're seeding in the fact that you have this thing coming up, right? So that's kind of seeding, promotional. You can do that within while you're talking about things like, hey, in my blankety blank program, the number one thing people have trouble with is this part. And then you write about this part. You see? So you can seed about your programs, products, and services within the book. Just, I wouldn't be too over salesy because then it's like, oh, this gal's trying to sell me again, or she's talking on and on and on about this thing. Boring read, right? So be careful. You can always put sales pages in the back of the book, which I do. I always have like 6 or 8 sales pages, or like book Katrina to speak, grab a freebie on the back of the book. So there's lots of stuff to add to the back of the book. And sometimes we add fun graphics or things depending on, I have a book right now that we just launched this week and it was Here Comes Menopause, and it doesn't have anything to do with this gal's business, but it's like this funny story about menopause, and you probably have not been through it. You're too young, but I have, and I have plenty of friends that have been through it, and it was hilarious. But it was a very skinny book. It wasn't this huge book. So we had to pad it with extra photos and images and things like that, maybe journaling and extra pages or whatnot to make it a good read, right? So there's I have so many ideas. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
I love it. That's so cool. Yeah. And you also have mentioned, just in general, you've had a lot of life things going on in your life, and maybe it's been chaotic or taken you away from your business. So for entrepreneurs listening who maybe feel like life got lifey and I got a little bit out of touch with my business, or I haven't had as much time, or I feel a little behind or defeated, any tips as someone who's been in business a very long time of how you keep going, how you kind of pivot when you maybe had a setback or something like that?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, and I've had a lot of setbacks, and lately people have been calling me, oh my God, you're so resilient. We had a fire and my husband had 2 heart surgeries, emergency, on vacation in Mexico. I had a gallbladder surgery. I had my mom moved into assisted living. I mean, we've had a lot of things just in the last 5 months, and I'm still here. I'm still working. Is it more emotional than normal? Yes. Do I rely on some of my close friends and sisterhood with some of the groups that I belong to? Yes, of course. You have to surround yourself with those people who can hold space for you, lift you up. What I would say, if you're looking to get something going in a book and stuff's going on for you right now, then the compilation book model is a great model, because you write 1 chapter, you're done. Somebody else does the work. And then you get the shine in the promotion part of it later. So that's why I did 3 compilation books before I wrote my own full book, because I was building my business. I didn't have time to stop and write a book. Writing a book does not make you money. So if you're in the place too in your business where you can barely pay the bills and you're worried about the money, then you need to focus on the business. Do not try to write your own whole book right now. That's the business coach in me saying, don't do that, right?
Yeah.
Focus on the business, focus on getting clients, maybe do a compilation book if you can. Most of us can write a long blog post or a long post or article, right? And so get something out so that you have another thing to promote. That's all.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Great thoughts. Yes. So Katrina, this has been super helpful. Where can people connect with you and find you?
Yeah, so I see you have the @ sign here. I'm at Katrina Sawa pretty much everywhere. So you can find me on LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. I have lots of video tutorials on YouTube, by the way.
Cool.
And jumpstartpublishing.net is the website for the book stuff. There's 3 free things you can get there. You can actually get a publishing training, a book marketing training if you already have books. And I'm doing free author calls right now every month. And you can just come and brainstorm on your ideas. So
love that. Amazing. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And is there any final words of wisdom you want to share with someone who was listening to this and is thinking about books and doing books?
Yeah, just don't overthink it. Stop overthinking and just do something. And why not every year? Why not have a book every year come out in some way, right? There's some very small books too. It could be a tip book, whatever. Do something because it really is a great exposure. I've been on TV many times because of books that I've written. So
love it.
We've written TV either, but it's just really fun. It's fun. It doesn't have to be hard. Don't overthink it. Just do it and then do the next one and the next one and the next one.
Yeah. And it can be a part of your overall strategy regularly.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks so much for listening to this podcast. And if it's really helpful for you, I'd really appreciate if you share it and or leave a written podcast review. This tells the podcast sites that our show is useful and it will be promoted to more people that way. Thanks again.